Good morning, my dear friends. My name is K. Umesh Rao. Today's subject is liability of the state for the torts. I am requesting you to subscribe to my channel and it will give motivation for me to give more and more topics. What is sovereign immunity? Defense of sovereign immunity. What is the meaning of the sovereign function and non-sovereign function? How an act can be considered as sovereign function or non-sovereign function. These are all the subjects we are going to deal today. What is the meaning of the act of the state? It means act of the state means act of the executive. It means the sovereign power of the country. It cannot be challenged. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be interfered with by the courts, municipal courts. Whatever may be the direction of the supreme power, the municipal courts must accept it as it is. For example, in the case of Buren versus Denman, Denman was a captain in the British Navy. Plaintiff Buren owed slave barracoons in west coast of Africa. It was outside the British dominion. Captain Denman, the defendant, attacked the barracoons and released the slaves and burnt barracoons. The defendant's act were ratified by the British government. The plaintiff brought a suit against Captain Denman. Denman pleaded that it was the act of the state and therefore he could not be held liable for payment of compensation. The House of Lords gave the judgment in favor of the defendant, holding that the act was an act of the state. Defense of sovereign immunity. Why sovereign immunity is required? How this concept came into existence? This means king can do no wrong. This gives immunity to the king from civil and criminal liabilities. The legal concept was used in England. The English people think that their crown is incapable not only of doing wrong but even thinking of wrong. The king individually and personally cannot be sued by the earthly power. Public affairs are not to be imputed to the king and he cannot be made personally answerable for people. The power of the crown does not injure anybody in the country. The king cannot sanction any act forbidden by law. It means king has to honor the law. He is under the law but not above the law. If the king obtains loan from individuals for his personal needs, then individual can sue the king for the recovery of money. The agents of the sovereigns are held liable for their civil and criminal faults if such acts causes harm to individuals. Respondent superior principle is not applicable to the king and his servants. What is the sovereign done personally? Law presumes that it will not be wrong. While sovereign issues command to his agents, it cannot be wrong. If the command is unlawful, it is in law no command at all. In such circumstances, sovereign servant is responsible for the said unlawful act, not the king. Now, what is the meaning of sovereign function and non-sovereign functions? Sovereign function. While performing a sovereign function, if any servant, agent of the crown does any tortious act or breach of contract, such servant or agent is not liable. Doctrine of defense of sovereign immunity applies. On the other hand, while performing non-sovereign functions, if the servant or agent of the crown does any tortious act or breach of the contract, then such agent or servant is held liable. How an act is considered sovereign or non-sovereign? It depends upon the circumstances of the case. Sovereign functions are mainly concerned about the defense of the country, maintenance of the armed forces of the country, maintenance of the peace in the territory. These functions are performed by the state for external sovereignty. They are not amenable to the jurisdictions of the civil court. Court cannot question. Other sovereign functions are taxation, police functions, maintenance of law and order, legislative functions, administration of law, grant of pardon. These functions are based on public policy. What is non-sovereign function? These are amenable to the jurisdiction of the ordinary civil court. If the state does an act, tortious act or breach of contract, it will be liable for the wrong done. This is non-sovereign function. Nowadays, it has become very difficult to differentiate between sovereign function and non-sovereign function. So, in order to differentiate sovereign function and non-sovereign function, we have to refer to the judgment given by the court. We have to understand the functions, whether it is sovereign or non-sovereign. Now, for example, we will take upon, there are certain disturbances in a locality. Officer issued curfew order and informed the people not to come into the streets. The group of agitators throws the stones against the police. They came to beat the police. Police constable fires in the air. People are not afraid of it. Constable fires at the group and one of them wounded and died. The police constable is not held liable. It is sovereign function. In another case, Madrazo versus Wills. The captain of the British Army destroyed a Spanish trading ship wrongfully without the order from the superior officers. Captain of the British Army believed that he should destroy the trading ship as a part of the performance of his duty. He pleaded the defense of sovereign immunity. The court did not accept the argument and ordered him to pay the compensation to the defendant. Contracts. Now we will study contracts. All the government contracts are executed on the name of the crown. Servants of the crown, civil as well as military, enter into contracts with the private persons on several works. Crown's servant or agent is not answerable for breach of the contract made by him in his official capacity. He is personally not liable unless agreed to be personally liable. The sovereign immunity can be studied under two heads: before commencement of the Constitution and after commencement of the Constitution. Before commencement of the Constitution, we know that English law was prevalent. It says that king cannot do any wrong. So king is supreme. After commencement of the Constitution, that concept has been changed. Now we will study some case laws. Peninsulars and Oriental Steam Navigation Company versus Secretary of State. Servant of the company driving a vehicle belonging to the company. Carriage was passing near the government dockyard. Government servant working on top of the building of dockyard. One of them negligently dropped iron piece on the road. Due to this, one of the horse was injured. Company sued the government claiming damages of Rs 350. Defendant pleaded the defense of sovereign immunity. High Court gave judgment in favor of the plaintiff and asked the defendant to pay the damages. In this case, court classified the sovereign acts and non-sovereign acts. The court said that for the sovereign acts, the defendant is not liable. For the non-sovereign act, the defendant is liable to pay the damages. Another case, State of Rajasthan versus Vidyavati. District collector has maintained a jeep. Jeep driver driving the jeep rashly and caused a Death of the defendant's husband. Widow sued the government for damages. Supreme Court gave the judgment in favor of the widow and asked Rajasthan government to pay the damages. State of Gujarat versus Memon Muhammad Haji Mastan. In this case, customs authority seized the goods as per Customs Act 1962. It is smuggled goods. Respondent filed an appeal. During the pendency of the appeal, customs authorities sold the goods in public auction. Later, appellate court ordered the customs authority to return the goods at the time of adjudication. Department failed to return the goods because already they are sold. The respondent sued for damages. Government pleaded the defense of sovereign immunity. Supreme Court ordered the state government pay the compensation. It is not sovereign immunity. It is not the sovereign function. BKD Patil versus State of Mysore. Plaintiffs' ornaments were stolen. Police recovered them. The court gave the ornament to public authorities for safe custody until the final disposal of the proceeding. Public authorities misappropriated the ornaments. After disposal of the case, plaintiff made an application to the trial court for the return of ornament. The trial court said that party was not entitled for the return of the ornament. Party filed the appeal before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court gave judgment in favor of the appellant and ordered the respondent to return the ornament or pay for the cash. Thank you.